Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining us here at CEDIA 2020. My name is Patrick. I'm with Modus VR, and what we're going to show you now is going to be a little bit of an escape from the norm. People always ask if theater rooms and conference rooms is all we're able to do, and the next space that Ken and Scott are going to build out is going to be a little bit of a living area. It'll feature a small kitchen, dining space, as well as a living room area with a little AV system. So let's just get started right with it. So what is Modus VR? So Modus VR is a sales and design tool built for AV professionals. It allows you to explore ideas and concepts with customers and other trades in real time, all done in virtual reality. So the power of this is really being able to explore spaces and solve problems that sometimes maybe aren't solvable unless you're in the actual room. And so perhaps this is a room that isn't even built yet, but you've got floor plans and you want to start planning out how AV is going to fit into that space. Modus allows you to do this in virtual reality, see the size, scale, and scope of the room before a single nail has been hammered, before any wires have been pulled. The beauty of this is the fact that it costs nothing to make changes at this stage of the planning. So maybe we want to flip the room 80 or 90 degrees or even 180 degrees. To do that after building and construction has happened really can be costly, and so our whole entire concept is to allow you to really think through and upsell your customer into some maybe more elaborate solutions. So how do we do this? Well, the first part of this starts off with creation of the virtual space, and to do that we use our launcher software, which you'll see here on screen. As you can see, I've got a number of floor plans, and we are on, I believe, room number 13 here. Yep. And so this space, as I mentioned, is a small living space. So we'll call this living room and kitchen. Just go ahead and name it. And this is what we would consider a complex space. The main difference is that simple spaces are just going to allow you to put in some dimensions for a rectangular or square room, just 4 walls, whereas a complex space is going to allow you to draw kind of whatever you'd like. So we'll go in here to start with an empty space on the complex side. What we can do, and this is a new feature for Modus, the launcher and Modus VR as of June, is I can come in here and actually pull up a reference image. And so I'll pull up that floor plan that we had. I think we said we're room number 13. Yep, looks good. So here's the floor plan. I'm going to just go ahead and draw this up. I'm going to increase the transparency of it because it's pretty light looking, and I'm going to go ahead and recalibrate. And as you can see, when I did that, it actually put it off center here, or it's actually slightly angled. The nice thing about recalibrating this is it's going to allow us to turn this image so it's actually square with the way that we're going to design the walls. Now you'll notice this floor plan actually has 0 dimensions on it at all. So in a case like this might be a situation where we know that this is maybe this isn't even a built room yet, but typically speaking we would do something like find a doorway that we know is a referenced size. Typically doorways are 3 feet, and this is a double, so we'll go with 6 feet, and we'll just see how this turns out. This should work pretty well. This area over here is a small pantry. It looks like we've got a kitchen. This is likely a refrigerator, a couple dining room seating area, and then I believe a couch. So these are all just rudimentary blocks. And maybe this is a situation where the customer's just bringing you their own drawing of their living room area. So to start building this room out, we'll go in here. It has an 8-foot ceiling. I know that because they told me. And we'll just start adding some walls here. So to do this, we'll just basically, I'm going to change my snapping, come in here and just start tracing this. So it's really as simple as this. I just start following the lines that are on my floor plan, and once I have the basic shape of the room built, we can come in here and actually start fine-tuning stuff. So I'm going to save that angled wall for last because it's going to be a little bit tricky. Come in here and actually start fine-tuning all these lines just right onto the actual blueprint that I've got of the floor plan. So take a quick look at this, something like that. And we'll suck that guy in. And now we've got all the lines pretty well lined up. I'm actually going to hold Control, and I'm just going to drag from here to here, and that should create a nice final line there. And then we want to maybe just shore this up a little bit and try and get it as close to the actual line there on the blueprint as possible. So that's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with the final result there. So once I've done this, we're actually done in the launcher, and we move on to the VR portion. So I'm going to save this and send it over to the guys to take a look. Let's just see if they can hear us. Ken, Scott, are you there?
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Patrick.
All right, so they're in VR right now. They have this room already built out and ready to rock and roll. We're just going to jump over, and now we're in the room, and as you can see, it's an empty shell. And from here, they're going to build the space out using the VR tool set.
All right. Thanks, Patrick. This is Ken in green.
And this is Scott in blue.
So we're going to go through and build out this space. So thank you, Patrick, for drawing out the shell of the room. The rest of the work is going to be done in VR. We would consider this the build portion of the Modus suite of tools. And once we're done building it out, we'll then talk about the presentation part. So typically clients aren't with you for this stage of things. There's just no real need for them. They're welcome to join if they want, I suppose.
Might get a little
Patrick,
chaotic.
Do you want to start a timer?
Oh,
See
yeah,
how long
absolutely.
this
Let's
room
see how
takes
long
us?
it takes. This is a little bit more of a complicated space. Thanks for reminding me, Scott. So we'll just
Yep.
add a 60-second moderator penalty.
Does
So
that mean we get extra time, or you're penalizing us? for
nope,
your
you guys are
moderation
penalized for my
skills?
mistake.
Okay.
Come on, Ken, you know better.
been a
So
long
you guys
show,
have
man.
you guys have
It's been
kind
a
of
long
divvied
show.
up responsibilities. Looks like Scott's tackling the kitchen and maybe some of these doors, while Ken does the living room side. Now, from the plans, Scott already kind of saw the plans. I shared them with him, so he's familiar with the space, and so he's just going to start populating. Ken's just changed some floor texturings, so this all starts coming together really quickly. And everything that they're doing comes from their little virtual tablets. There you go. I'll follow Ken for a minute here, so you can see he's actually changing things like the shape of the generic tables here. We also have some items, like if we have a branded piece of furniture, like for instance I just saw a Herman Miller chair in there, things like that. Those are static dimensions, but with a lot of our generic objects we allow you to actually fine-tune. Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Maybe we'll put in
Yeah.
Wayne's Lounger
I love
somewhere
it.
around
I
here.
love it.
Why not?
And so if it's a generic object, you can really go in and start tweaking all the settings of it. We've got artwork to start filling out all the sort of the creature comforts of the home, some plants. Really make this start feeling pretty authentic in terms of, populating out the entire space. Now we'll just take a quick peek over here and see what Scott's up to. Where you at, Scott? Where are you hiding?
Just over here in the kitchen.
It'd be
area.
really funny if you just kept teleporting behind me so I never found you. There he is. All right, so the kitchen's looking pretty built out, and these are new objects for Modus. These should be coming out in our next release, which I think is probably due for early to mid-October, Ken. Does that sound reasonable to you? How are you
I don't
feeling?
make promises over a live stream. No, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, we're looking pretty good. So we've got a refrigerator, a microwave, and a nice gas stove over here. I think we even have. Do we have a hood that we can put above that stove, Scott? Is that a thing?
Yeah, we got one of those.
Take a peek.
Throw
There's
that
our
up there.
kitchens. Hey, nice.
There it is.
Nice. Very cool. So these are generic objects that we've just created to really, again, fill out the space with some authentic details. We had, for a long time, people were just creating kitchens with nothing in the countertops. So we're moving right along with that. And now looking back, whoa, Ken, you've got a whole room built. Making some good progress.
Yeah, I want to finish fast so I can go eat lunch.
Ah, it's dinner time, breakfast time.
Actually,
lunchtime.
Patrick, if you want to come over here, I want to
Sure.
kind of walk through a couple of things.
Absolutely.
So the layout of this room doesn't really give us too many options. Eventually, there's going to be a big glass window behind me. So in terms of where the TV might go, we basically have the option of that wall to your right and this wall above the fireplace. And as we were talking with the client in this case, they really didn't want to have TV over there because of just reflections off of these giant windows. So putting the TV here makes the most sense. And given the size of everything, we could probably go up to a 75. I'll do a 65, because the challenge with this type of thing is, where do we put the equipment? And so what we've done, one option would be to try and put a low profile piece of furniture here, but it's so close to the fireplace that can be a tricky thing. So instead, what we're going to do is show this cool piece of equipment from Chief. Let me get to it here. It's just a sliding storage panel. So this guy tucks right behind the TV, and so it's out of the way in terms of just day-to-day use, but when it comes time to service it, you can just open it right up, get access to all the equipment. And in these days when most people don't even use optical media anymore, they're typically just going to have an Apple TV, maybe a little bit of networking equipment. This is a great way to put in a nice clean install. You're not having to cut more into the rock here. You're just mounting the TV, and then this rack mounts to the TV as well. So
Nice.
it's a really cool little solution, but being able to show it here is just a really nice touch for the client to understand what you're doing and why. And really, you're giving them a really great experience along the way.
I'd argue that's a great add-on sale for just about any flat screen mounted TV, because if you think about it from the standpoint of serviceability, what did you say, this is a 75 or a 65 inch TV?
We ended up doing a 65.
Even still, I mean, I have a 65-inch TV. It's a stretch for me to get my arms around it to pull it down off the wall every time I had to do something like reset an Apple TV or a cable box. I would argue that the couple $100 that chief product probably cost, it's going to save your customer that in service calls down the road, especially if it's something as simple as resetting a device. So it's a great add-on sale, and that's really what we try and do with Modus is include more things, just to give you more ways to sell more things to your customer.
Yeah, and when you contrast this presentation with just handing them a stack of papers that includes that rack on it, this way you can immediately demonstrate the value, show the client, and then move on to the next problem you're trying to solve, rather than trying to talk at the client for a little while.
Sure. Now, are we going to include some audio in this room as well, you were saying, Ken?
Yeah.
Oh, hey-o.
Thinking we do some Bowers and Wilkins. I mean, let's swing for the fence with this proposal.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
we could do a much smaller system if we wanted. We could even do some in-walls or something like that. But let's put our best foot forward. And one of the fun things about Modus is this virtual space. You can think of it the same as you would like a Word document, where you can do a bunch of things, save it, and then make some changes and save a copy. And you can do that as many times as you want, of course. So then you can come in and present to your client your good, better, best proposals, for example. We also added the Eames lounger in here. Well, maybe the client doesn't actually want an Eames lounger. Maybe they want a bigger couch. Maybe they want to do a bigger TV, smaller speakers, whatever the case may be. For us to be able to pull up these different designs on the fly literally takes seconds. That is very similar to opening a Word document, but you can give them wonderful insight into what you are looking to give them without spending a lot of time, right? And that's a big benefit of Modus. So really quick, I forgot to ask, how are we doing on the room build? Scott, are we done?
We are done. Yep.
6
long is
minutes,
that, Patrick?
26 seconds plus your 60-second moderator penalty. So we'll call it 7.5 minutes.
That's not too shabby.
So yeah, I mean,
So this
worst
is-
case, that's two people. I mean, let's just say it was one guy. I would say, well, first you wouldn't have a moderator penalty, but you're under 15 minutes to build out this pretty awesome space, I'd say.
Yeah, and if you're not as familiar with the tool as we are, or if you're exploring the space, trying to figure out different ideas, that might take you a little bit longer. But still, in most cases, our customers are, from start to finish, 20 to 30 minutes for a lot of their spaces when they're doing about this level of design. Now, of course, you can go in greater detail and spend more time if you like, but usually it's not really necessary, right? We're just trying to get the customer to the point where they can understand what you're pitching and get you to presentation results really quickly. And so the fun thing here is we can also do simple things like we can show them some video on the screen so that they can get a good idea of what it's going to be like. They too can teleport around, see things from different angles. Maybe we have this chair off to the side a little bit and the client's worried what their view is going to be like. It's really easy for them to see that. Now, when we talk about Modus, we really talk about it in two parts. We talk about the design and the presentation. Most of what we've been showing so far is all about the design, which again, your client isn't typically in there with you. But presentation time, that's your opportunity to shine, right? That's when you can show your expertise. You can call out things like, well, hey, if we put the TV over here, you're going to have a lot of reflection, so it's probably best over here as long as we have a low profile fireplace. But having a client in VR with you isn't always practical. It may not even be possible in some scenarios, which is why we have other ways of presenting too. So for example, what we're doing right now, where we are live streaming a session, is something you can also do with Modus. And that gives clients the same type of interactive thing where they can communicate with you, they can ask questions, share concerns, and you can react in real time. You can show them that you heard them, and you can say, okay, yeah, you don't really like the black Bowers and Wilkins? Well, maybe we'll go with a rose nut or even white. These are all quick and easy to do. It really opens up the opportunities for you to shine as an integrator, put your best foot forward. But in other cases, maybe even a Zoom call isn't an option. And that's where we also offer these other types of deliverables. We recently released Modus Photo, which lets you generate professional, high-resolution images of these rooms that you can freely email, include on your website, social media. We're also giving a sneak peek of 360 panoramic captures, which you're going to demonstrate here. And then as well, we can also create some line drawings that are great to give to the installation team, architects, contractors, you name it. So with that, Patrick, I'll hand it back to you, and you can walk everybody through the next steps outside of VR.
Sounds great. So to get that, we saved the space, which Scott did for me just a moment ago. I don't know if you guys noticed he dropped out of the session. So thank you, Scott, for helping out. And Ken, thanks for everything. We'll see you on the other side here. All right, so let's jump back to our launcher. And now what we want to do is open up the file that's been saved. So let me just get over to my launcher as well. Come on, launcher. There we go. So go back here, and you'll see that the files here are available. And here is space 13. So you just see a nice little thumbnail here just to verify that that's actually the space that we're working on. So you can open it back up in VR. We don't want to do that because we've already done the VR portion. So as I mentioned earlier on in the demo, once we're done in VR, we'd come back to the launcher for just a few minutes to get our deliverables. We'll save Modus Photo for the last part because that's where we're showing you the sneak peek of the new features. Editing the floor plan would just literally let you do exactly what it sounds like, go in and change the walls. So that's really the first step. What we want to do is go in here to our line drawings. And so what the system was doing right there was just automatically generating both a floor and reflected ceiling plan. You'll see those over here on the side. Now, both of these are automatically generated, so no effort involved from your end. And so some people, that's all they really need. You just want to go in here and maybe mark up a few things like how far these speakers are out from the wall and how far they are from each other. And maybe that's all you're really interested in doing, is just getting that real basic, showing out here. We've got from the center of the seat to the tweeter, and 9 feet. And let's see how well we place these. I think we're looking pretty darn good. That's pretty darn close. But maybe this is all we're really concerned about lining out, or we could possibly even go farther than this, and maybe we want to add some additional views. So let's get a view of the fireplace elevation. And so what we can do with this is I'll be able to take this and snap it to these walls. And the way this tool works is if I'm holding the control key on my keyboard, it'll actually snap to the nearest wall. And then by holding shift, I can actually keep it aligned to that snap that I've created. And so here you'll see the elevation, a little preview of my actual elevation. So that's looking pretty nice. Maybe we want to also grab one. I'll just hold Alt and grab a copy of this camera view and pull one back here to include the couch as well. Now I'm going to actually thin this out just a tiny bit so we don't include the dining room table. But now we're able to see the back of the couch, and you'll kind of see that full view of what we're looking at, maybe from window edge to window edge. So give you a couple different options for views. There's not really any AV in the kitchen, but you could certainly add those views if you wanted. Why not? Let's see what it looks like. So we'll do it to this wall and pull that back. So here's your kitchen elevation, and we'll just make that a little wider. So you can certainly do as little or as much here as you want. Obviously, for integrators, the important thing is going to be capturing the views of the technology. So I can go in here and annotate these. So we've got our Bowers & Wilkins speakers, and maybe we just want to call out the length between each speaker here. So we'll just do something like this. That's 7 feet 3 inches, and maybe we'll just call it out down below. And then maybe we also want to let our installers know where this television is going to be mounted. So it's 1'5" off the ceiling, and then from each edge of the fireplace, it's going to be centered at 8 inches, like so. Well, should have been centered, but it's pretty close. I would say this is a situation where your installers will use their best judgment, and also give you the height off the floor. So we'll just grab that height, 3 feet 10. Awesome. So we've got all that. Let's just do a quick look at what we've got going on here. So once you're happy with all your elevations, you can then go in and actually export this by coming to the Generate Drawings portion, step 3. Put in your name here. So we'll call this small living room and kitchen. And we can change the name of the company here as well. So if this is all pre-populated as you get Modus set up, but if you want to change this on the fly, CEDIA 2020 is the company, and that's the website. Perfect. So we can see all that populates. This is the preview, and then when I hit generate, it's going to save it as a PDF. Now I'll jump over to a PDF viewer here, and now you'll be able to actually see what this final document looks like. So it's a professionally formatted, scaled drawing of the room that you just created in VR. We've been demoing for less than 20 minutes right now, and we're already to the point where we have created value in a project. with some Bauer speakers, the Chief product that Ken mentioned, and the television mounting. There's obviously going to be some installation labor included, but now we've got deliverables, so you can hand this off to your customer. You can send a copy back with your, sorry, I'm scrolling through those quickly. I'm trying to zoom in here. There you go. So you can send a copy off to your installers that shows all the mounting locations of the television. Maybe you want to also show that above view that shows the speaker placement. And what you can do is really quickly generate some extremely valuable construction documentation. Let's just go ahead and zoom back out. So it's a nice formatted document. Looks nice and professional. But I'd argue that this isn't super exciting for a customer to take away. Is it important data? Absolutely. Is it what your customer is going to get excited to show his friends and family? Not so much. So let's go back to the launcher. And the next piece that we're going to go into, I'm going to just save that and go back. The next piece that we're going to go to is Modus Photo. And so we'll have all these deliverables available. They'll be downloadable from the CEDIA Demo Deliveries tab, Deliverables tab. And so Modus Photo, once it gets loaded up here, jump over. And Modus Photo is going to look a lot like Modus VR did because it's the exact same underlying software, but now we've got some interesting things going on. So fireplace is fired up. You can see that the lights actually have glow off of each individual light in the room. So we've got a little bit more going on in terms of fidelity of the image. And the goal here is for you to be able to take and capture what you did in VR in high resolution and create a professional looking high resolution polished render of the room that you can send home that your customer will be very excited to show their friends and family. And it can also be used for reference. So if your installation crew says, what's this actually going to look like? They're looking at the line drawings, but maybe they're just having a hard time visualizing it. You can come in here and we can fine tune things like the lighting. We can even drop the shades. And what you're able to do is now create, I'm going to leave these shades open maybe a third. Come in and just capture this view of the Bowers & Wilkins speakers along with the television. And I'm just going to fine tune this lighting to get a nice glow here. And let's put some content on the screen. So how about we'll do the Rise of Skywalker. We'll grab a clip later on in there we go. Perfect. Some Kylo Ren destroying some rebels in the forest. All right, so once we have a good, nice looking image, maybe we wanted to capture that Ames lounger as well, just the edge of it. One cool feature that I love that you can actually do here as well is you can actually change the depth of field here, and you can actually start blurring out certain things by getting a little more artistic with the focal length of the camera. You can also change the zoom, so if we wanted to capture more or less, just pull that in and out. And maybe we do want to capture just a little bit more with this particular view. So we'll use that zoom and we'll pull that focal length down just a little bit more and just bring the ambient lighting of the room up. Alright, once we're happy with the look of the shot, we just hit enter, and that's going to take a high resolution screenshot of what we're looking at right now. So you'll see down in the bottom left corner there's a static thumbnail of what we just captured. And maybe we want to get another view of the room from this angle here. And we want this one with the shades all the way open. And the lights up a bit. Alright, so we'll grab one more screenshot. So these are our static screenshots, but Ken also mentioned something that we are working on actively right now, which is Modus 360 Photo. And 360 Photo is going to allow us to, I'm just going to capture that real quick, find a place in the room. And this room, because it's so large, you may even want to do two of these, but I'll actually grab one from probably this position right here. So I'm just going to take a quick look around the room, make sure that I'm not inside of anything like chairs or walls or other furniture. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring the lighting up a tiny bit more on all of these. Something like that. Alright, and so you'll see in the top right corner it says if I press Control and Enter, it's going to create a 360 view. So I've just hit that keystroke and you saw real quickly there it said generating 360. What this actually does, I'll pop back to our launcher here, this actually gives me over here you'll see I've got a little notification next to online. I have a new 360 image, and what this is actually it's a link, and I'll post this to chat, and we'll also make these available in the demo deliverables tab of the CEDIA page. This allows me to export a 360 degree panoramic view of the room. This is consumable by any type of device, so this could go to a tablet, it could go to an iPhone, The image doesn't care. As long as you have a web browser, you can pull it up, and now you have a way to send your customer with a very tangible copy of the VR design that you've just created. So we've created line drawings, we've created high resolution screenshots, and now we have a 360-degree view of the room that's consumable on a tablet or any type of device. So you've taken from the concept of a customer bringing you some floor plans to a full design of a room, including a fair amount of value in speakers and technology, and given a stunning presentation that I'd argue is unparalleled by your competitors. If you have more questions about Modus VR, we encourage you to ask questions in the chat. Get in touch with us, fill out the contact form. We're happy to help answer any questions you may have. And we'll be doing a few more demos today, so I think we've got 2 more on the schedule. They'll start at about the top of the hour, so check back in about 30 minutes for our next demo, which will be another theater room with a new partner of ours, Art Novian, and we will look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for stopping by. This is Modus VR here at CEDIA 2020. Have a good afternoon.